Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Mr. Payne back again, bringing you properties used in solving equations. The next area of review that we're going to talk about are all about properties and number families and how to use your calculator to solve equations to get back into solving multi-step equations. So the first property we're going to talk about is the commutative property of addition. The commutative property of addition, a plus b equals b plus a, allows you to CO, remember I used to tell you, CO, change order. Now this works for addition, don't forget, but it does not work for subtraction. So the commutative property of addition. The next property that we're going to talk about is commutative property of multiplication. A times b equals b times a. The third one, associative of addition. Remember that the associative property, the parentheses slide, nor the SO is a little hint here. SO for an association, SO means same order. The only thing that is different is the grouping. The associative property of multiplication is the same thing. My order is all the same. I'm just regrouping of what I'm multiplying first. And according to PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, the order of operations, all you're doing in both cases is changing what you actually would add or multiply first. Your additive inverse. Add the opposite to make 0. So an example of my additive inverse would be a plus a negative a equals 0. Remember that we use the additive inverse all the time when we're solving an equation. It's how we move something from the left-hand side of an equation to the right-hand side of an equation. The additive identity. A plus 0 equals a. The answer is identical. We don't use this guy too often. Multiplicative identity is similar to a plus 0, but it's a times 1 equals a. The answer is identical. Multiplicative inverse property. Multiply by the flip to make it a 1. So it's the same thing as what we do when we're solving our equations. A times 1 over a equals 1. Now we're going to talk about number families. This is really huge. They ask a question dealing with number families at least twice on each exam. So this is really important to understand all these vocabulary words and get this correct. So irrational numbers. We've talked a lot about irrational numbers lately. And an irrational number is a decimal that never ends, never repeats, never terminates. Okay, and examples of irrational numbers are the square root of 2 or anything with pi in it. You can say pi, you can say 3 pi, you can say pi divided by 4. Anything that involves pi is going to be irrational. One way to check this, and if you're still unsure, is when you have a number in your calculator and they're asking you if that number is rational or irrational, hit math enter. If it turns into a fraction, then it's a rational number. If it gives you the same thing back, it's going to be irrational. So a rational number is a number that can be placed into a fraction. Okay, and we also know that as a terminating decimal or a repeating decimal or just a whole number or an integer or a counting number. Any of those numbers fall into being a rational number. So let's go to the next word that I just mentioned. I mentioned 3 more words. Integers. They have negative and positive numbers. So examples for integers, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the numbers that you find on your number line that would be around your teacher's room in 5th grade. Your whole numbers, pay attention to this, your whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay? What's the difference between an integer and a whole number? Well, an integer includes your negatives. Your whole numbers do not include negatives. It's just your 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Your natural or your counting numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and a way to think about that is that when you celebrate birthdays, you don't say, "Oh, this is my 0th birthday." It's my 1st birthday, or my 2nd birthday, my 3rd birthday. So you start counting at the number 1. So that's why it's counting numbers. The last part of this video is a little trick. How to solve equations using a calculator. Now, we don't teach you this throughout the year, but we will start to practice it because we want you to be able to solve it by hand, not just take shortcuts or use a tool to help you solve this. But at this point in time, we want to give you every opportunity to learn how to do it or check your answer using a calculator. So, step number 1, put the left side of the problem under y1. Put the right side of the problem under y2. Find the intersection by hitting second, trace, and that trace button is right by where the calc is. 5, which is intersect, enter, and the calculator is going to prompt you by first curve, enter for the second curve, and then it's going to say guess, yes, and you're going to hit enter. And like I said, when we get into class and we start solving some equations, we will definitely do this and show you how to use this in your calculator. The answer is the x value on the screen. Why would it be the x value? Why? Because we are solving an equation. An equation only has one variable, so we're not concerned with the other variable. So it's just an equation. We're looking for just the x value. I hope that this helps, and be ready to go for the questions when we come back into class. Thank you so much. Have a great night.